Well, 2 seasons down and 2 massive promotions up to the Vanarama National League. Can we make it a third? I highly doubt it, but we are going to be spending a lot of money this summer and taking a lot of time rebuilding this team and doing our best to survive the Vanarama National League. Stay tuned to find out exactly what we do and how we do it. Welcome back, folks, to our summer transfer episode. Speaking of episodes, it is episode number 16 of my Taskmaster FC Chesham United save. We have reached the end of the second season, 2 seasons in, 2 consecutive promotions, 2 league victories. I could not be more excited about what this team has accomplished the first 2 seasons. Now, moving forward, I want to tailor our expectations a little bit because I do not see us repeating a third time, considering the level of talent and more importantly, the level of money that's available in the Vanarama National League proper. But I wanted to take some time and take a look at the end of season review here because of all of the things that we've accomplished over the course of the season. I think it is something that we need to celebrate. Look at all this young talent that we brought in over the course of the season. David Baddiel, young goalkeeper, really kept us going towards the end of the season when John Richardson just simply was not performing. Sam Campbell from Crystal Palace played 50 times this season, was absolutely crucial for our midfield. Same with Jenny Eclair. Wasn't quite sure Jenny Eclair was going to get some field opportunities this season, but ended up providing a lot of support for us. Lolly Adefope, couldn't imagine starting without Lolly Adefope. Jenny Tien, Brinley Stint, all of these players were absolutely superb this season. Jenny Tien ended up turning into quite an amazing young talent in the midfield. Carrie Gottleman at fullback, really filling in for that left back position that we were so sorely missing over the course of the year. And Sean Gibson was also part of the team. If we go to the season's results here, our goal was to avoid relegation from the Vanarama National South, and we won the whole thing. I don't know how we did it. I don't know why we did it, but we did it. We beat Western Supermare by 5 points. They will be going up with us to the Vanarama National League. So that rivalry will continue moving forward. FA Cup, knocked out the second round by Barnsley. We had a pretty good run of form here. Unfortunately, Barnsley just happened to be better than us on that given day. We ended up defeating Lincoln City, who was first in the Sky Bet League 1, and they actually ended up winning that. So we beat Lincoln City, who are 3 tiers above us, I believe. Not anymore, but we're 3 tiers above us at 1 point. So that is something to be superbly proud of as we approach and reflect on the season in review. Some moments to remember: biggest win over Chelmsford City on New Year's Day, nonetheless. Biggest match to remember, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. That is a match that completely changed the trajectory of this team, particularly from a financial aspect. And goal of the season here, I don't really want to rewatch this because this was not our proudest moment, but we ended up getting the victory anyways. Finances, we actually did a pretty good job this season in terms of our finances. Match day, commercial, and retail was quite good. Our competition prize money almost doubled. Corporate and hospitality money almost doubled, and we got £66,000 in broadcast revenue. Sponsorship revenue went down, sadly, but this definitely made up for it, and you could see that in the finances that we were not really hurting that much for finances this season, even though I thought we might be. We rotated quite a bit this season, but this looks to be the lineup that we went with most consistently. I would wholeheartedly agree that this really is the team that we have put together for this particular season. Lots of goals being shared all around. Whitcomb and Duker, Campbell, all contributing here. Big shout outs to our defensive pairing here, Adefope and Dravid with 10 goals total. Really helped us out through the course of the season. Of course, Rasheen Connolly, our number 1 goal scorer, 25 goals in this season. We are going to be saying goodbye to quite a few players. Maybe not so much from this lineup. Again, we'll just kind of have to see what we end up having towards the beginning of the transfer window, what types of players we want to bring in, and what we want to do to be successful for next season. And it looks like we won a couple of trophies here. Record breakers, most goals in player by a match with 3, most goals in league goals by a player. I don't know if that's probably a long-term, all-time player here. Let's just go through the couple awards here. Player of the season, Sophie Duker. Young player of the season, Sophie Duker. Signing the season, David Baddiel. A little bit surprising there, but again, that David Baddiel absolutely saved us when we were not keeping clean sheets towards the end of the season and bought us just enough victories for us to be able to take the league trophy. Most assists, Sophie Duker again. Most man of the match, Josh Whitcomb. We've had a lot of success so far this year. History in the making. We did make some history, and we got off to a good start, and we celebrated promotion. Thank you, Mael Alfonsi from Maxi Foot. Haven't heard of that one before. My manager timeline. Yes, I am in the Canadian Hall of Fame. Didn't take much, but I got there. Who is in our best 11 overall? Got quite a few players that are in here that we did not have before. I'd like to actually go through and take a look at some of the players that we've let go, just to kind of get an idea of where some of these players are now. I do want to look at, let's see here. Let's just look at Ramesh for a second. Goalkeeper Dartford. What did Dartford do this season? 15th of International South, so they'll be staying down. But it looks like Ramesh Ranganathan was a key part of that. Not too bad. 1.5 goals against per game. Wasn't exactly in the same form that we had him in. Different league. Would totally understand why. But their first choice goalkeeper, he's absolutely playing. So I'm thrilled about that. Let's take a look at some of our transfers here. Lucy Beaumont. We transferred out. What's Lucy Beaumont doing? Not playing. Now it says 23 appearances here. Maybe just not, this isn't just, yeah, we don't have this. That's perfectly fine. 23 appearances. You know, Lucy Beaumont's definitely playing. That's good. Let's see. Anybody else we got rid of that was a name in the game? Not really. Do we have any, like, players we released? There we go. Release players. Okay, here we go. This will be helpful here. So, Joe Brand we released. Playing at Marlow now. Getting some decent appearances. Okay, a couple goals here. Definitely can't complain about that. Yeah, we played Joe Brand. Was a good part of our team last season. Just could not contribute this season. Just did not have the ability. Forward. And Ramesh Ranganathan was really the only other Taskmaster contestant that really ended up playing significant time for us last season that did not this season. So I think every season I would like to do that. I'd kind of like to see where our previous Taskmaster contestants ended up. Obviously, this season we're going to be releasing quite a few more. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to look like yet. We kind of have reached the end of the season here, so I'm going to start looking primarily at who we want to keep, who we want to get rid of, in terms of ability, in terms of potential, in terms of who we need to re-sign. We've got a few players here we need to re-sign. I think there's a lot of players down here towards the bottom that just don't quite cut it anymore or won't quite cut it. And it's sad, but I would expect David Baddiel to go. Possibly Danielle Walker, Joe Thomas, Jenny Eclair, Sean Gibson. Frank Skinner's earning a lot of money per week. Same with Danielle Walker. That's money that could be spent on players that I think are better than 2.5 stars. But again, we're just going to have to wait and see what we come up with. But I want to try to free up some wage here and see what we can do with it. We do have some wage budget in general. About 4,250 pounds to spend. So that can bring in probably 6 players at this level. I'm just trying to think of what I want to do, especially with players that are on non-contracts. Because those are the kind of players I feel like could very easily get poached, but also aren't costing us a whole lot of money. Again, I'm just going to have to wait and see. I know I definitely want to keep all these. This is a core that I think can compete in the next level. I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect, but this is a core that can compete. Anything down here, I'm really going to have to take some time and think about. So once I've figured out and made up those decisions, I've offered some contracts out, I've set some players up for release, I will definitely let you know what those are. And rather than just kind of jumping around towards the end of the window, I think I'm actually going to walk you through it together. This will be a little bit of a longer video, but I think you'll enjoy kind of seeing my thought process as how we go through and build a team. I don't know, my thought process might suck when we do this. I have no idea, but you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to critique me. You'll be able to tell me how much I suck. You'll be able to tell me, hey, that was a good decision. Hey, that was a bad decision. Or, you just won't tell me anything at all, which is perfectly fine. But regardless, we'll see here in just a bit for some, hopefully some transfers in and some transfers out. Well, it is bright and early May 15th, 14th, something like that in the transfer window. I've already made one signing, so I want to get a name in the game. That is, change the name of the player to one of my Taskmaster favorites. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see who we're going to sign next. Oh, the excitement. Can you just feel it? Ooh, Moan Rizwan, welcome to the club. And one thing I know we are going to need as we head up to the Vanarama National League is a proper goalkeeper. Not that we didn't have good goalkeeping the last 2 years, but I think it's time for an upgrade. And today we upgraded to Moan Rizwan. Yes, we have 4 stars of current ability and 5 stars of potential. This player, very well-rounded, only 6'1", but just has a lot of really good goalkeeping attributes, mental and physical. Just seems like a very well-rounded goalkeeper. Can play sweeper keeper or just regular defensive goalkeeper, but better than anyone we currently have at the club. So probably means that David Baddiel or John Richardson probably out during the course of the summer. I'll keep track of all the other signings I make as we continue through the summer. It's been a little less than a month since I last brought you with me. We do have one more name in the game spin for another Taskmaster contestant to be a part of this Chesham United squad. We're going to see who that is, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we're going to release and potentially who we might sign. Oh my goodness. David Correos, Season 2 Taskmaster New Zealand, the most chaotic contestant quite possibly in the history of Taskmaster. Welcome to Chesham United. So just to bring you back with a quick update on our transfers over the summer, we did bring in a David Correos, 20-year-old center back. Did not need much in terms of wage. I think it's £275 per week, so definitely a good value signing here. The report's kind of iffy-ish. We don't require any compensation. Very simple wage demands. Definitely will slot in here for sure. Not exactly sure if it's going to be a big starter or not. The attributes are very hit or miss just in regards to what this David Correos can do here. Looks to be just a solid, no-nonsense defender. I don't expect any goals. I don't expect a whole lot from David Correos other than just good, solid defending. Hopefully nothing too chaotic like what we saw in Taskmaster New Zealand Series 2. A few things about the squad in terms of who we've set for release here. Danielle Walker, I believe I've gone ahead and set for release, £675 per week with just a 2-star ability just isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. Some of these non-contract players I'm going to leave around just in case they end up deciding to stay. If we need to cut them in the long run, that should be good. That's kind of one of the advantages of these non-contracts is we're not really tied in to keeping them on the team. They can stay as long as they want. Obviously, they can go if they want as well. But this does provide us with a little bit of support here. I did go ahead and release Angela Dravid, Joe Thomas, set them for release, Frank Skinner, John Richardson. I think I went ahead and set for release. I'm going to have to just double check and make sure. We're going to have to see this towards the end of June. But other than that, brought in a couple of players here on trial, just trying to get an idea of what we're looking at for next season. Moan Rizwan, 4 stars, straight into the first team. Very excited about that. Excited to bring in David Correos as well. So we have some opportunities to bring in some more players in terms of staff. We've kind of worked some things around as well. We've re-signed most of our staff. I am going to release one of my assistant managers because apparently I have 2 and I'm not allowed to have 2. Not quite sure how that ended up taking place, but it is what it is. So we've got some scouts out. We're going to bring in some trialists, especially when it becomes July 1st, when we get all of those releases from some of the bigger squads. And we'll just have to wait and see how we build a team. I'm not quite sure what it looks like in regards to next season. But I know that, like I said, a lot of these players are going to get released. We're just going to try to build from the top down and just really see what ends up taking place here. Roisin Connolly, unfortunately, also probably a victim of this purge. Wants about £900 per week. I get that 25 goals is fantastic, but I just feel like we might be able to find somebody better. I hate seeing all these players get released. They have been such an important core for us for the first 2 seasons, but if anything's constant in life, it is change. And I know that sounds very poetic. It's because it is. You know, Greg Davies brings that out in me, the poet. But we need to make sure we continue to develop this team so that way we can stay alive in the Vanarama National League. We'll bring you back here in maybe a couple weeks and see if we have any new players to bring in. See you soon. So I've brought you back the 1st of July here, and we're looking a little slim in terms of players, but again, free transfer window opens. We've got some players that have been released by some bigger clubs, so hopefully we can go in and get some big signings here. We've definitely had the finances to do it. I've got about £6,000 to spend left over in our wage budget. So plenty of room to bring in plenty of players to beef up our squad here, just in terms of transfers and what we've done, bringing players in, bringing players out. We did bring in some players here. We did release. I'll get to the release players here in just a second, but some of the players we brought in, we did bring in Rob Beckett from Didcot Town. Definitely looks like could be a solid addition to the midfield here. May not necessarily start. Again, it's just going to depend on who we can bring in with the free transfers here in just a little bit, but certainly looks like a good, solid central midfielder. We also brought in Will Anderson from Taskmaster Australia Season 2. Not quite as good here, but can play on the left and the right-hand wing, so was pretty excited to see that. Good dribbling, good crossing, good first touch. Definitely could be a key to our hopes of staying up in the Vanarama National League. And David Correos, again, another 3-star. current ability player, central defender. Again, kind of a no-nonsense central defender here. Definitely will be important here. Brinley Stint ended up actually signing to Worthing on a free transfer. So we will actually be seeing Brinley Stint here in the league that we are currently in. In terms of players that have been released, it's been a very difficult decision on who we're going to get rid of. Part of that was just based off of ability, but the other part of that was based off of salary as well. Big player loss here is, unfortunately, Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner just unfortunately wanted almost £1,000 per week, and that's just a little bit too much at this level. Frank Skinner, 62 appearances, 6 goals, absolutely stalwart in our ability to be able to get promoted the last 2 seasons. So Frank Skinner, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. Di Henwood, same thing here, 59 appearances in the last 2 seasons, 8 goals. Just unfortunately, I don't think is the caliber of player who's going to be successful at this league. Di Henwood, we wish you the best of luck. Roisin Connolly, this was probably one of the most difficult decisions I had to make, was to get rid of Roisin Connolly. We don't currently have a replacement striker. I'm going to be looking for that quite a bit over the next couple of days here. 105 league appearances, 68 goals, leading striker in Chesham United, Taskmaster FC history. Roisin Connolly, we wish you the best of luck in your future. Joe Thomas, again, solid player here. Last 2 seasons, 69 appearances, 11 goals. Is not the caliber of player that we need. We have to be looking forward and moving on. Angela Dravid, same thing, 83 appearances. We're dropping players that brought us up the last 2 seasons, but just unfortunately do not have the ability to continue with us. And you can see here, a lot of these only sign as a last resort. A lot of these players played many, many games for us the last 2 seasons. It's going to be difficult to find replacements for them, but we are going to have to absolutely do our best. 81 league appearances, 2 goals. Was definitely a big, big part of our defensive back line in the last 2 seasons. So Danielle Walker, we wish you the best. We wish all these players the best of luck moving forward. We will continue to watch them as we move forward. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for some free transfers. There lots of players have been released 1st of July. Bring in some players on trial, see who we can sign, and see if we can beef up this team to be a formidable squad in the Vanarama National next season. I'll bring you back when we've signed a few more players. All right, folks, halfway through July means that we got 3 new signings, long story short. So I'm trying to get the names for those 3 signings, and we will add them into the team immediately. First one we're going to have is Al Murray. Oh, next name in the game here. We end up signing 2 strikers and an attacking midfielder, which means we really need to start looking at our defensive lineup and how we're going to get them to improve. We're a little bit weak defensively. Looks like Judy Love's going to be part of our offensive lineup now. And then lastly, who are we going to bring in to Taskmaster FC? Chesham United will welcome the signing of Ursula Carlson. Excellent. Let's get those names in the game, and I'll be back with you here in just a moment. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at those new signings here. First off, we have Al Murray. Al Murray is going to be an attacking right midfielder. Excellent 3.5-star ability, large potential here. Definitely one of our better players offensively, and really should be able to provide some support for us this season. Definitely brings a little bit more of an offensive attacking approach to us from the right midfield. Don't get me wrong, we've had some great right midfielders, but again, we're really trying to get some players in the squad here that are really going to push this team. And then I signed 2 strikers because obviously we lost Roisin Connolly, but I did bring in Judy Love. Judy Love is going to be a fantastic striker for us, another 3.5-star current ability player. Again, just great potential here. We ended up bringing her in from Fulham. And then lastly, Ursula Carlson here. Again, another great potential. Lots of really, really good attributes. I think Ursula Carlson is going to do a fantastic job for us offensively. And with these 2 very talented strikers, it might lead us to change the formation a little bit to maybe a 2-striker formation. I'm not quite sure yet. We just need to see how the rest of the squad rounds out. Brought Ursula Carlson in from West Bromwich Albion, and hopefully we'll be able to provide us with some offensive firepower here. If we look at the squad and look at the tactics being used, I think our front line is going to be quite good. We need some support defensively and in the midfield. So with the amount of finances that we have left, and we've got a little bit of cash left, there's about £3,000 left to spend. I've currently spent this amount just simply because I have a few players that I've attempted to sign. Whether I'll get them or not, it's a different story. But I think I can maybe bring in 4 players on that, and I think that's kind of where I want things to end up here. So what I would really like to do is I'd like to bring in another right defender. I'd like to bring in another left defender here. There's probably a better term. Left back. That's the term for it. My goodness. Forgotten football and soccer already. I'd like to bring in another center back and possibly another central midfielder here. I think our bench should be okay. In regards to who we have, I mean, obviously we've got Rob Beckett here, midfield, so we do have some players that can come in and make a difference, but really would like to maybe see one or two more players come in midfield and then maybe a couple others defensively. So again, we're just going to have to stay tuned and see what we can find, because it's been a very challenging window, to say the least. I've invited probably, 50, 100 players in on a free transfer just to try to get to see what they are, offer them on trial, and get a chance to take a look at them. And so many have been already snatched up or rejected. But our first round of trialists proved quite good offensively, just to see what we have here. And we'll continue to move forward and hopefully get some more signings in here before we start the season here in just a little bit. We'll see you soon. All right, well, I'm bringing you back 1 hour before the season actually starts. And let's just wrap up this, what I like to refer to as a dumpster fire of a transfer window. We brought in 4 more players. One player did not give a name in the game because I'm not sure this player is going to be able to make it to our first team. But if that is the case, then I will give this individual name. The first person we brought in was Fern Brady. Fern Brady from Taskmaster Series 14. Gosh, so long ago, yet so recent. It's so hard to remember. Fern Brady is going to be a left back / right back here. We just need more options in that particular area of the field. Nothing particular of note other than a fairly good young individual who has pretty good potential. So should definitely be somebody who rotates in and out of the squad. In addition to that, we brought in Daisy May Cooper, a very strong center back here, 5'10", has some really good physical and mental attributes, should slot in right into the first team. We also brought in Josh Thomas. You may not be familiar with Josh Thomas. Josh Thomas is from Taskmaster Australia, Season 2. Very, very funny comedian. I see here has very good goalkeeping attributes, will be a very nice backup keeper to our new keeper, Moan Rizwan, who we brought in a little bit earlier in this transfer window. So that being said, we kind of have a full squad here. Finances, we do have some cash in hand in case we do need to make some other transfers. In addition to that, I do have a couple of other players I'm trying to bring in just to kind of fill out the rest of the squad. But other than that, I say we're set. I'm not sure how this team's going to actually perform during this season. We do have some big signings here. We have brought in a lot of players over the top of some of our more successful players. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens here. In terms of the Vanarama National League, we are destined to be 22nd, so the season preview here does not really give us a whole lot of hope moving forward in terms of being promoted or even survival. So I think this definitely is a season of consolidation. According to this, our key players are Moan Rizwan and Al Murray, and they are 2 of the bottom 3 top players in the league. So I don't know what that says about us other than we need some help significantly. So as we move forward, we'll have to see what kind of players we can go ahead and bring in terms of finances. The less said about our projection, the better. But as a little bit of a special for you today, I'm going to actually go ahead and play our first game because why not? I've got some time on hand. We might as well play our first game, get it over with, and just kind of see what ends up happening here. So this is kind of the starting lineup I've kind of put forth here. I think this is how we're going to move for the first day. I have changed our formation here. I want to make sure I make use of both of our strikers here today. We got a poacher and attacking midfielder here. I'm not sure which of these I want to maybe make some changes with in terms of the position that they're playing, but I don't really see anything here that's going to make any of these individuals any better in terms of the midfield and how they're playing, just any player here in general. So right now we're going to have Moan Rizwan in goal. Defensively, we're looking at Fern Brady, David Correos, Ali Adefope, and Daisy May Cooper. Jenny Tien and Rob Beckett are going to hold down our midfield. We're going to have attacking wings of Sam Campbell and Al Murray, and up top, 2 new strikers, Ursula Carlson and Judy Love, and hopefully we get some success today. We are playing Kidderminster in the very first game. We are playing at home, so that's quite exciting. We're going to go ahead and submit this team, cross our fingers, and gosh, I hope for the best. I have no idea what to expect today other than, I need to give a player lucky number 13 for Daisy May Cooper. She will love that, I'm sure. So with these teams warmed up and hopefully pull out a victory today. We've played teams at this level before. We've defeated teams above this level before, but going into a 46-game season, playing against teams at this level, I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to cope with the move up, but we're just going to have to wait and see what things happen today. I'm going to go ahead and leave things on balanced, and hopefully, if we can get a win today, I mean, any type of victory is going to be a start here in the Vanarama National, because we are not any types of favorites to be promoted. Not even favorites to stay in the league, so that is not a good sign 5 minutes into the game with a free header. Luckily, it's just tipped over the net by Moan Rizwan. Will be a corner for Kidderminster here. And the ball goes into the box. Looks like it's cleared out. Ursula Carlson, interestingly enough, gets a head on it and clears, and that ends the highlight. Still 0-0 heading into the 10th minute of the game. And haven't quite looked very good so far. Definitely have not had much in terms of possession, it seems, so far, as Kidderminster seems to have dominated, or continues to dominate, inside the box here. Atafope ends up clearing a low cross that ends up into the box, but Kidderminster continue to push, and looks like former Palace man ends up firing it just wide of the net. Once again, Kidderminster on the attack. I don't know if we're just not comfortable in this formation yet. Maybe we're just not comfortable playing, but that is a wide open header. Somebody just decided to stop, and that's a goal kick, and this is not how we wanted to start our game today. I'm going to go ahead and put things on caution. I want to play a little more defensively. Maybe we move some of those attacking midfielders back a little bit. I don't know. But our passing, our possession has just not been anything of note today. Al Murray looks like he's already injured. A couple minutes into the first game. It's certainly not something you want to see in your first game of the season here. Hard to believe we've got 45 more games left of this, and we're so used to just being dominant that not doing so is just very different for us. We'll change our headers and get some floating crosses in, but I don't know how well that's going to be, and it looks like Kidderminster are going to get another opportunity here. Free header there, and I can't even believe that. That's a goal. Moan Rizwan literally just catches the ball, backs up, and ends up crossing the plane. What a bizarre goal. I mean, watch this. Header. Simple header. Caught. Nope, Moan Rizwan just decides, you know what, I'm going to just take it into the goal myself. It's 1-0 Kidderminster going into halftime with an absolutely atrocious goal. And time to lay into him. That was very poor. Especially by Moan Rizwan. You're supposed to be head and shoulders above what we've had previously. And that performance does not show any type of promise whatsoever. Okay. I think we're just going to go with some more standard passing rather than direct. It doesn't seem like we're able to beat players like we used to in the lower leagues. So we'll do that. Early crosses. I don't know if I really want to try to work the ball in the box and use our offensive prowess. I'm going to keep things the way they are. A couple little changes here and there. Al Murray seems injured. Let's get Whittingham on. See if Whittingham can reclaim the magic that he had in the last 2 seasons. Kidderminster are going to take another free kick, and that ends up being headed over the top of the net. It is a goal kick for Chesham United. We've just not performed today at all, and I'm afraid that this is what it's probably going to look like for most of the season if we cannot figure things out. And maybe it's just the formation here. Maybe I went a little too offensive because we have not been able to do much of anything. And Rizwan's, again, shaky in goal. A free header was available if Rizwan did not get a hand on that. Very disappointing so far today. Albeit, Kidderminster have not had too many opportunities. They've had most of the highlights so far this game, but out of the 4 shots they've had on target, a .47 XG does not show a lot of real good, solid opportunities here. Jenny Tien looks like she needs to be replaced. That's fine. Oh, boy, I do not have a lot of options here. Let's get Sam Campbell. Sam Campbell says he's play attacking midfielder. Yeah, why would I want to switch that? That's weird. Will Anderson? Sure. Get an opportunity to play. Daisy May Cooper's on a yellow card, so we'll make those substitutions. Maybe we need to go a little more positive. I mean, we need to score a goal here. So a positive mentality is not a bad idea, even if we're going to get a couple more goals against us. This gives us an opportunity to score. Being a little more positive, taking a little more opportunities with the ball, but I think this might just kind of show what our season's going to be. I need to demand more. Fern Brady's been apparently awful today. And just in general, we've just not played a good game. So this is our welcome to the Vanderbilt National League. It is not a happy welcome whatsoever. And I don't know what to say. Defense has just been unacceptable today. We've done nothing offensively with the ball. Oh, I think we're in for a long season. Again, as I mentioned before, probably going to be a season of just consolidation. Let's get some things figured out. Let's try to just keep in the league. And hopefully we can eventually figure things out. Disappointing start to the season, but we're just closer to our goal than we were before. Hopefully Alex Horne will understand that and keep me in charge of this club, because I think I can continue to move this team forward. I just need a little bit of time to figure things out. So if you've liked that, and hopefully you've liked that, well, leave a like. And if you want to subscribe, you can do that as well. And if you're ready to see more Taskmaster FC content, well, like and subscribe. And we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you so much, and have a good day. Bye, everyone.